As the temperature of the Earth rises, it is changing the climate as we know it in many different continents and areas. And one thing that scientists have been trying to figure out is what is at stake, what is changing specifically with the animal populations of the world. A lot of animals depend on specific climates to exist, particularly around water. But when those animals, when their environments change to the point where they get driven out and have nowhere to go, that can be a huge issue for many populations all across the world.
Yeah, it's weird how like a slight difference in temperature can cause extinction. So and as we've seen in a zillion different movies and in a zillion different books, one species goes, everything sort of hinges on that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I especially like they say it about bees and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like if we lose bees, man,
our agriculture is in trouble.
Yep, we're done. Like everything's pollinated. Done. Yeah. They say in 30 years we're going to lose polar bears, and that to me that's heartbreaking. Like the fact that we are causing this damage and we are not looking for solutions, and we are just systematically wiping out species after species.
Too busy talking about whether or not it's actually happening to actually do anything about it.
Mark Urban, an associate professor of ecology at the University of Connecticut, was examining different studies, parsing together between computer models and other statistical techniques to combine data of extinction studies and temperature change. And for example, he found that limiting climate change to a 2 degrees Celsius, 3.6 degree Fahrenheit rise in temperature, a target many world leaders have committed to trying to achieve, would nearly double global extinction risks. So roughly 2.8% of species around the globe face a risk of being wiped out. A 2 degree rise increases that risk to 5.2%. But if the global temperature rise was 4.3 degrees Celsius, which could happen under many different trajectories that are currently used today without dramatic reduction in fossil fuel emissions, extinction rates could go up to 16%, or 1 in every 6 species, which is a huge number and will definitely affect some chain in there.
Well, I was going to say, you look at that, like you say this small percentage of animals, but that's only what the actual climate change is wiping out. That has nothing to do with like the other animals that are dependent or need them in their chain. So it's like really like what is the exponential effect of even just losing 5 species? Like it could,
for sure,
it could be way more massive than it sounds like 2%. That's okay, like maybe 2%. That's not crazy when you think about all the millions of species out there. But when you really think about the effect that could have on a grand scale and in the different chains that they exist in, it is massive.
Yeah, it's frightening. Just even with what you said about bees, it's it's a tiny little thing, but it pollinates. Something else eats it. It eats something else that gets out of control, and it's actually kind of really scary.
Put a more specific face to this. Well, I mean an animal species. Climate change is already contributing to the decline of South America's yellow-crested and blue-backed manakins, and New Zealand's tuatara. It's a lizard-like reptile whose eggs produce females only when nests are cool. So rising temperatures have resulted in fewer of those. In Australia, climate change is posing risks for the survival of everything from the yellow-footed rock-wallaby and the lumholtz, a tree-kangaroo, to pink-tailed legless lizards and gold-shouldered parrots, which are very beautiful, but you don't have to be beautiful to matter as an animal.
Yeah.
And also a recent study posted in the journal Science found that South America could see extinction rates more than 4 times higher than those in the United States and Canada. So areas such as those, warmer climates or climates that are warming more, are going to see the most negative change
I think
change
the
right
poles,
away.
like, I'm guessing like the further, like the closer you're out to the poles, the more severe.
Antarctica in particular. Yeah. This is an issue, particularly around there. So yes,
no solutions.
It just makes me sad.
Just
it just makes me super sad, guys. Like,
those are 2 different projections, as I mentioned earlier. One is with measures taken to reduce emissions, and one is with no measures taken to reduce emissions. And both numbers are calculated based on current trajectories of where we're going and where we could be. So,
well, Elon Musk needs to save all our asses right now.
Give us the batteries, Elon Musk.
I mean, maybe that's a step. I do think, it's a lot of it is emissions, and a lot of it is just carrying more and standards for corporations and such. So that is kind of a scary reminder, and I'm sorry that it exists. But you know what? It's an inconvenient truth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what do you think about these huge losses that are on our way, and what is being done to stop them? Let us know below in the comments below. I said below twice, and please be sure to subscribe.